Welcome to, okay, good afternoon, everyone. And welcome to today's Zoom meeting. Let's see. Oh, I better accept conditions. Got it. That I'm going to be recorded. And good afternoon, good evening. Today's class is our EZ Series and Estey product features class. I set up today 3 models. That's all I can get in here in this camera view. I have the beautiful Discovery 3 by Estey, which we're very proud of. Our Freedom 3 by Estey. These 2 models were designed by Fletcher Music Centers. And then behind me, I'll jump on in a little bit, is the Lowry EZ4. So if you have one of these models, now if you have an EZ2 or an EZ3 or an EZ10 or something like that, everything that I'm going to do is going to apply to most models. And if it's something on a model that I don't have present, I'll try to refer to that model. So you do want to take very good notes. And I'm going to jump around a little bit. I'm not going to zoom in on the camera. Obviously, I don't want to mess up the camera, knock it off, or what have you. But I will stand up and go to the different models, and we'll have some fun with that. I think to kind of get the blood flowing a little bit, I'm going to start off with a little number and play a little song for you. Let's see. I'll keep it right on the first one here, which is standards. Here we go. Oops. Here we go. Take 2. Yay! The crowd roars. That's my special sound effects for today. All right. Well, what I'm going to do. Oh, did my camera go off again? No, I'm still there. My camera moved on the screen. So I'll start off and I'll kind of jump around a little bit, but I'm going to kind of progressively go through some of the models. So I just started off a song on the Estey Discovery 3. Now, the style of music that I used was it was under the standard, and it's commonly known as swing time. Okay, so if you wanted to use a similar style, a big band style works great. Frank and the Count, those types of style works great. What I did is, now I normally don't change that many sounds as I play. I did it intentionally just to let you know there was a variety of sounds in this little guy. So when I started off, the song I played was, did you catch it? It was All of Me. Okay, and I think it was a song that Joni just featured in one of her classes. And as I was playing the song, I just wanted to show you that there's a lot to a little instrument, a beginner's model, that meets the eye. So as I was playing, it started off with, it gave me the clarinet, I believe, automatically. And then I switched to, I think, vibes at some point, and then I switched to, we have over here at least 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 sounds to choose from, the most common. And then there's a handful, actually a few organ sounds, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But one of the features that almost all of the models have, for, I want to say over the last, since I started in 1993, and they're worded slightly different depending on the model. The Estey called it originally automatic setup years ago. Now we call it auto setup. The Lowry organ for many years called it rhythm preset. and now they called it the later models called it style setup. Okay, and essentially they all mean the same thing. It means when you select a rhythm style, like I chose standards, or if you choose Latin or anything else, it will set up the instrument with a melody sound, and depending on that style, it'll choose what's considered an ideal tempo, which you can always change, and it'll balance out the band compared to the melody. So for example, I'll do another one here. I'll just go right to the next one. The next one over is country. Okay? And when I selected country, here's what happened. It gave me a tempo of 117. It set up a guitar. All right. And it's got everything balanced out. And then all I have to do is play.
1, 2.
I kind of like that one too because he counts off for me. So you can do whatever you want. Now what's really cool about these instruments is that, I gotta remember where I put that volume at. I think it's right there. There we go. What's really cool about this is you can not only change a sound while you're playing, but you can add multiple sounds together. So, for example, if I want piano and guitar together, I would push the two together. If I want piano and strings together. Some combinations work great, some work kind of so-so. So piano, by the way, this is something you want definitely want to write down. If all else fails and you want to combine a sound and you want to guarantee that it's going to be a combination, add strings to any sound. And you can never go wrong. Piano and strings, guitar and strings, vibe and strings. Some may sound better together than others, but it will never be a bad combination. So I'll give you an example. So here's a piano. Okay, now I'm going to push strings on, but I'm going to push them both together at the same time. Here we go. All right, now let's do jazz guitar by itself. I'll put it with strings. And it sounds good. So if you're ever playing along, I want to try combining something, and you're just like, you want to play it safe. And in fact, a lot of us do that. A lot of times when we're playing in the middle of a concert, we want to just do something to fill in the sound or make it sound different. My go-to is I just reach up and start hitting some strings and add them to what I have going on. And it is always great. Some of us still love the organ sounds. I like, for example, I'll put on the jazz organ. You put that with strings and guess what? Sounds great. Got some good notes I hope you're taking. Now, I know some of you, I know some of you have the big models. These little simple tips that I'm giving you, they work on any model. Small, big, medium, large, in between. All right. Now, a lot of the organs have songs built into them. Those songs are great because, especially if you're newer in the hobby, you just simply select the song you want to hear. Let's say I want to hear this one, Love Me Tender, okay? You just find the song, select it, and you'll hear the recording. let me stop that there for a second. I like that setup. There's a cool little trick on virtually any model out there, okay? Any model that has the ability to play songs. Sometimes they're built in, sometimes they're on floppy disks, sometimes they're on USBs. Doesn't matter. As long as that instrument has the ability to play back a song some way, if you're playing the song and partway through you go, I really like the way that sounds, okay? Don't do it the hard way. If you want to play that song using that setting, don't do it the hard way and stop it and start over and start over from scratch and try to remember. All you have to do is stop it midway, turn off the song feature, and that setup should remain there. Okay, let me explain. Let me do it again. So I'm going to play the song for a few measures. No, not that one. Go back to Love Me Tender. Okay? All right, now I'm going to stop it there. Stop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the song. Because I stopped it, that setting is still there. Pretty cool. And you can do that on any model. I'll prove it. I'll come over here, I'll hit song, and I'll find a different song to play. Let's say Amazing Grace. Oh, I like that. So I just press stop, turn off the song feature, and it's play. Okay, I said basically any organ, so let me come on over here. Now for you, the way I have these set up, the sound probably sounds okay to you because everything's being hooked up directly, but not all of the organs, the sound's coming out of the speakers here. So when you hear this, you're going to say, boy, that doesn't sound as loud as that one over there. It's just because I cut it off and it's going through the cord. Okay, but everybody on that side, they're hearing the volumes equally because it's all being patched through. But anyway, so I'm going to hit the song. Let me find, there's Love Me Tender. They have a slightly different version on here. Okay, so that's the introduction. We'll let it play a few measures in. Okay, oh, I like that. I like that. I want to use that setting. Just press stop, turn off the song feature, and then just start playing the song. That one. So that's a really cool feature to use basically in any model, because sometimes the next feature I'll talk about in a few minutes, there's songs and there's song setup. Okay? Songs are basically songs that are recorded, pre-recorded, and when you play them, they just do that. They play back. You hear the recording. The other feature is called song setup. Okay, and sometimes people get the two confused. You can use them very similarly, but song setup is just that. It sets up the organ for you to play the song. That's all it does. So if you're using a feature called song setup and you select it, nothing's going to play. The organ is just going to set up for you to play. The song feature does that. It plays the song. But if you stop it midway through, you can use it as a setup too. Now, a lot of times, the recordings that are built in, the setups that used to record it, is very similar to the setup of the song setup. Every now and then, you might find a song setup and a song, and they're actually different. So it's just worth going through them. But for those of you a little newer to the hobby, let me kind of keep it simple now. What song setup does. So basically, the instruments that have the song feature song setup, there's one there and there's one here. There's a list of titles built in of songs, and it's alphabetical. And there's, depending on the model, anywhere from 50 to 100 to 200, and you go to the big one, it's like 700, 800, and there are song titles, okay? And the idea of these song setups is when they were programmed so that you get the ideal setup for that song. And in some cases, almost when it was the most popular and recorded. So, or it might have been an artist that did it in a song in a Broadway style or something like that. So we'll do a couple examples here. And sometimes they're just great setups altogether. So if I come over here, since I'm sitting here, I'm going to find a song setup here. Besame Mucho. Okay, I love that song. I love playing it. And when I hit select, nothing plays naturally. It's just setting it up for me to play. But what I noticed is it gave me one of the new Latin styles. It gave me a tempo of 100. Okay. And the Latin style, I believe, is giving me, it's just called Latin. Let me put it back, bring it back there. Okay. And it's set up, it looked like some guitar and something else there. So all I do at this point is play the song. Ooh. I haven't used that one yet, so it's kind of surprising. Sounds good. Now, here's another cool thing you could do with these song setups. While I was playing, I said to myself, that's great I can do Spanish Eyes, Girl from Ipanema, I can play Miami Beach Run, a lot of songs. Now, Spanish Eyes might be in here, and it may give them a similar setup, I don't know. But you don't have to change to a whole totally different song setup. If I want to use that same setup for another song, go for it. So I'm going to finish off. Start playing the other song. I'll do another example over here. All right. So if I do St. Louis Blues, for example. All right. Let me hit select. So it's not playing the song. It's just setting it up for me to play the song. All right. Now, try to do this so they can see me there and you can see me. Well, St. Louis Blues. I might have to sit down for this. We'll see what happens. If you see me sitting down, it's because I'm getting old. I can't be playing leaning over all the time. All right. I'm getting no sympathy over here. Okay, so let's see. St. Louis Blues. Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to remember the notes. Now, I'm going to sit down, not because I can't play it, but I noticed while I was playing, if you may have caught it, but I kept reaching up for the fill-in. Okay? Now, the fill-in is great to use, but if you have to take your hand off the keys all the time, it's kind of annoying. Then you have to make sure to get it back on the right chord. So that's why we tell everybody, if you have this expression pedal here, on the pedal, there's a switch to the right and a switch to the left on the expression pedal. Okay? So the models that have those, a lot of them have one or the other in the lower levels, and a lot of them have both. And basically, I can't see if you could see that angle there, my camera, maybe, but anyway, many of you may be familiar with it. There's a switch to the right and a switch to the left. Okay, the left is a little trickier for some. That's called the glide, where you bend the notes. Okay, the right one's a little easier because as soon as you tap it, you don't have to worry about keeping your foot there. And once you tap it, it'll automatically activate the fill-in. Now this one is pretty cool because when I activate the fill-in, it does that. Pretty cool. So when you're playing, your hands never leave the keys. Now, as I'm listening to this, I hear that beat. I don't play a lot of songs with this kind of a march. It's called a 6/8 march to most, where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you feel it as 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, all right. But but when I hear this, I think of a few other songs to play. So that was St. Louis Blues. Here's another one that might work. See if you can name it. You ready? Let me do the fill-in first. I can remember how to play it. Something like that. Anybody know the name of that one? Any lucky guesses?
76 trombones.
Boy, that's a lot of trombones. Wow. You got that right. Now here's another fun thing you can do on a lot of the models. This is just something you can do and you don't have to worry about playing a song. It's about knowing what you have and then making just some notations to the ones that you really like. Progressively, all of the models naturally have, the bigger the model, or I don't want to say bigger, the more expensive, should I say, the more rhythm styles there are. So on our little Discovery 3 here, for example, there are 8 styles of music. The EZ2, I want to refer to the EZ2 in case there's some EZ2 owners, is set up very similarly. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has 6 styles of music that can be played 3 different ways. So technically that's 18 if I did the math right. All right. That's a lot of styles of music. Over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times 2 is 18. And then all those 18 can do double. So 18 times 2, whatever that number comes to. Over here, this setup is a little differently. So there's 4 categories on the top, and so that's 8 styles categories, and each one can do 3 different. So 8 times 3 is 24 as an example, okay? So there are a lot, and if you went progressively up the line, the EZ10 has 12 of those, times 3, 36, and if you go to the fanfare, it just doubles, you know, et cetera, okay? So, and you're never going to use all of the rhythm styles. And for some of you out there, I know you got an aria, and there's like almost 400. No matter what instrument you have, you'll never use all of the styles. But what I encourage is try to go through as many of those as possible to see what you have, and then you can kind of make a note to self to the ones you really like. Sometimes you may find one that I'll occasionally find, like this rhythm that I'm on right now. I like the style. I don't use it a lot because I don't have a lot of songs that I play with that kind of music. But every now and then, when I need it, it's there. Now, here's an example. I'm glad I was playing this song because it gave me an idea of a song I used to play a long time ago. Let me see if it's in the song setup first. Nope. The song I was looking for was when Johnny comes marching. Da 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 da. I don't know how the lyrics go. When Johnny comes marching and da 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 da. It's kind of a song I used to play a lot years ago. It's not in here, but when I heard this style, it worked. So I use St. Louis blues as an example, and as I was playing, I went, "Oh, that might work great with that." Okay, and it'll lead me to the next little feature that I'm going to point out. So here we go. Now here's the St. Louis Blues, the song. I would start off with a G chord, like in the Black Songbook. Okay, now I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm going to play what I remember of when Johnny comes marching. I don't have the music, but I know enough of the notes. But listen, this is the same rhythm. Listen closely. Wait a second. That sounds different, doesn't it? Here was the way I did it the first time. Here's the second time. And all I did for you newbies, you newer students, or new hobby players, is I played a minor chord. Now you should know that because we just talked about that in class, didn't we? And here's where I'm leading to exploring your rhythm styles, because regardless of how many styles you have, it's always good to just pick one, put on an intro, and hit a chord, and just listen to it. Okay? Then put the same rhythm on and hit a minor chord and see if it changes it a lot or not. Some organs do change it a lot, and some styles don't change. Some are subtle, some are not. In this case, if I do the chord this way with the intro, and then if I do a minor chord, watch what happens. Sounds totally different. And you can do this on any of the models and just listen to see if it changes the way the band does the introduction. Sometimes you might find some go, ooh, I really like that one. And that's what you're looking for. And all it takes is pick a rhythm, maybe hit a C chord, just a plain old C chord, then put the same rhythm on and play a D minor or an A minor. Just pick one and listen to it. I'll come over here and do another one. Let's see. Groovy Latin. This one, I think I like this one. Let's see. Here's a C chord. Cool. All right, so when I hear that, I think of a song like this. and turned around and looked away. All right, now we'll do the same style, and let me just do a minor chord and see if it changes it at all. Okay, ready? Let's see. Oh, it does. It's the same beat, but the introduction is totally different. Yeah, so you could have a lot of fun with that. You may find styles that you normally would never use, and then you go, well, maybe the minor chord's different. Let's see. I don't know what this one does. Let's see. Disco. Now, Jerome, I know Jerome's there. I see his picture on the screen. Are you there, Jerome? He's there. He's talking in the background. But some of you know Jerome Johnson. Yeah, some of you know Jerome Johnson. Every now and then he comes in, he's complaining, I'm getting old, I'm a little slow today. You got to just, and then what I want to do is if I want to get Jerome going, I just put this rhythm on. And then he gets moving. But I don't sing Babyface to him. I don't even get well, you get. Let's see what the minor chord does. Ooh, totally different. Have a lot of fun with your styles that you have and explore and see if you could hear them in different ways that you normally wouldn't use, and sometimes just matter about putting it on and see, let's see this one here. Let's see what happens when I do a C chord. Boy, when I hear that, you know what the first song comes in my mind? Earth Angel. Earth Angel. I don't know how to play, but let's try it. It's got that really great 50s triplets guitar sound. You can do, let's put on a guitar sound and let's see what happens. Let's see. Sleepwalking. All right. Now let's see what happens when I put on the minor chord. See if there's anything different here. All right, ready? Auto setup. Oh. You know what I hear? The song The House of the Rising Sun. Now that's the major chord ending. If you do the minor, let's see what happens. Gotta make sure I'm in the camera there. All right. Now, a couple other little fun features that I think you should be using all the time or as much as possible. Okay. And I'll close off with a couple songs. And a lot of times the instrument will set it up for you automatically. And on here, it's wrapped up in a button called Harmony. Okay, over there, try to see from a distance, it's two buttons. There's two Harmony buttons. So for those of you who have the Freedom 3, It says duet and trio. Okay. The EZ2, I think, has a duet harmony. Some of the models have duet and AOC. It just depends on the model. Explore, and in the Estey and EZ series, the harmony button, they're all, if you have it, it's located on this side of the instrument. Now in here, there's a button that says harmony, and then when I touch it, see if I could do this upside down here. Scroll. It says AOC, duet, rock, octave. Okay. Now I'll kind of explain the differences in a little bit and just demonstrate one of them so you know. So AOC was a terminology that came out years ago from Lowry. I think the original term way back in the, don't quote me on this, but I want to say the 70s, 80s. Maybe somebody here knows the answer to that. And I think it was originally called automatic organ computer or something like that. But it basically, an automatic organ chord eventually became that. What it basically means is when you're playing one note, it's going to play three notes. So every note you're playing, it's playing three notes. Now think about that. Some songs that are really fast, not even a child prodigy can play three notes really fast. It's not impossible. That's why when you think of a big band orchestra or something like that with all the saxophones and the trumpets and the trombones, and you hire a bunch of musicians, they all play the notes at the same time, but they may be in harmony, you know, but they're all playing. Well, for our fingers, we can't do that. So AOC does that. Over there, it's called trio. Okay? Duet should be self-explanatory. Duet, when you play one note, it's playing two. All right, and a lot of times I'll get the question, when do you use one or the other? Well, there's many ways, but if you want a big, full, rich sound, AOC tends to do it because there's three notes. Okay? Sometimes the songs we're playing will, depending on the way the song's written, we might have to play low or high. So especially if there's anything to make a note, if you're using harmony, and the notes make it look like you want to play the notes down here, I would play those same notes up. Because what happens is, what it does, a three-part or an AOC, or trio or AOC, what it does is it takes, let me just put on something simple here. We'll put on just a classic Latin, let's see. It gives me vibraphone. Let me put on just an organ sound, you know. Okay, something like that. Okay, so what it does is it takes the note that you're playing, whatever note you're playing, and it adds two notes, but it adds the notes this direction. So if I'm playing this note, it may do this while I'm playing one finger. And the reason for that is the melody always stays on top. So when someone's playing, even though you're using that feature, you could still hear the melody. So if I do that same thing here, like Blue Spanish Eyes, okay? Well, if I do it down here, and I do the three notes, watch what happens. I get a lot of phone calls. And I was playing, it sounded all gurgly. Oops. I was playing all gurgly, or it sounded all gurgly or muddy, or that's why. So some songs, if you're using the harmony and you're playing and it sounds that way, just take your hand up, move it up one octave, and play those same notes. So here's an example. I'll leave this AOC on, and I'll play it without, and I'll play it low, and it might be okay. But now what happens when I put on the harmony? Watch. It's not very attractive, is it? So now I'll do the same thing up here. Now watch. So there, and the harmony feature, my head's getting cut off of the screen here, so I'll have to scoot in a little bit. The harmony feature, there's 4 of them here, and there's 2 there, and 3 here, and 2 there, and all these. Basically what it does, it's allowing you, it's almost like having 20 years of experience in a button. And and you never have to use it. In fact, even the pros will still use the harmony feature because there's things we can't physically do when we're playing that the harmony can do with one finger. So if you use strings is always great with some of the harmonies. If you put piano and strings, and yeah, here's an example. Here's some strings without a harmony. Watch what happens. So it just really fills in the sound of what you're playing. Okay? Now, when do you use it? Whenever you feel like it. If it doesn't sound good in the position you're playing, try to up an octave. Okay? Any questions before I finish off with some music? Any questions whatsoever about anything I've taught today? Any questions? They won't hear you anyway, so.
I don't see any hands, Robert.
You don't see any hands?
No.
Boy, you guys are all musically smarter today. All right. Well, with that said, I'm going to finish off with a couple tunes for you. All right. And I just want to, before I do, next week in Florida, for you Florida people, we are doing some 117th celebration parties in the store. Make sure to get with your local store and find out your day. I'll actually be out visiting Florida next week, and I get to participate in those shows every day. So I hope to see you there. If you're not in Florida or Arizona, I'm worth paying for a flight to Florida, even for a 2-hour show. The flights are very expensive, but I'll make it worth it. And I know, boy, it seems like they doubled. When I was looking up at flights to book to Florida, I could not believe it. I did find one flight that I could have saved $300 on. If I left at 5 p.m. in the afternoon and arrived at my destination at 6 a.m. the next day. So somewhere there was like 12 hours of flying and a layover and being stuck in an airport for 5 hours in the middle of the night or some crazy thing. It was just surprising that they actually offered that kind of a flight. But anyway, enough of that. Let's finish with some great music for you. And I hope you enjoyed today's session. You took some good notes and hope you learned something today. And since the camera angle's probably best here, let's see what we got. Oh, here's something that's always fun. This is always a lot of fun for a lot of. And that one was called the Bluegrass Train. And then there's another one here that a lot of people love. I like to use it a couple ways. It's called Wonderful 6/8. And I'll play a little medley of tunes. Most people hear this, they obviously think of this song. All sorts of great 50s tunes with this. So a little Wonderful World, and Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Is that the Elvis? All right. And let's see what's in this button here. I've always been curious. Let me just hear real quick. No, that's not that one. I think there's one in here I heard. No, there's this one. I heard someone doing it the other. Oh. Here it comes, folks. Here it comes. I think this is it. There it is. Okay. Yeah, here we go. There's 4 different gospels in here. I know it's 4 different gospel styles. And of course, it was the last one that I picked. Now, right now, I have the duet harmony on. Playing 2 notes. Now, if I want to do it manually, I have to do it like this. Whoops. Or I can put on trio and let him do it for me. Here we go. Some strings to it. Here we go. When all else fails, add strings. You can't go wrong. Anyway, well, thank you so much for joining me today for this product features class featuring the Estey and EZ Series. We hope you learned something. Hope you got a couple tips. If you can walk away with just one thing today that you can put to practice and use immediately, then we've done our job. And if you got more than that, that's even better. So thank you so much. And as always, when I'm online, I like to finish by saying, stay safe, keep playing music, and see you real soon.